Riddle me this. Do you have to be French to enjoy a plate of French fries? I know, dumbest question of the year so far, right? But is it really? Guess what, folks? Cultural appropriation has now ventured into the kitchen. Sorry to be the harbinger of bad news, but the social justice warriors are on the warpath yet again. They've previously screamed at Whitey for appropriating clothing and jewelry and music and even weaponry in the case of the Chanel boomerang. Apparently, you can't sample from other cultures if you don't belong to that particular culture. Membership has its privilege, as the saying goes. And so it is that the latest cultural appropriation trigger is food, glorious food. Yeah, that's right. Before you chow down on that entree, you'd better make sure you're actually entitled to do so. Just ask the two beleaguered entrepreneurs behind Cook's Burritos in Portland. You see, a while back, a story appeared in Willamette Week magazine about Callie Wilgus and Liz Connolly. The two women reflected on their trip to Puerto Nuevo, Mexico, and how they fell in love with the local tortillas there. Soon they started asking questions. Said Connolly, I picked the brains of every tortilla lady there in the worst broken Spanish ever, and they showed me a little of what they did. They told us the basic ingredients, and we saw them moving and stretching the dough similar to how pizza makers do before rolling it out with rolling pins. They wouldn't tell us too much about technique, but we were peeking into the windows of every kitchen, totally fascinated by how easy they made it look. End quote. Uh-oh, that's when this supposedly feel-good story took a sharp turn for the worst, at least according to certain vested interest groups. You see, once word got out that these gringas had been spying on the locals, well, all hell broke loose. Faster than you could say Frito Bandido, the women were being depicted as pirates. How dare they make burritos in the same style as the locals do in Puerto Nuevo? They even received death threats. Indeed, in social media, you'd have thought that Wilgus and Connolly were advocating for genocide. One SJW wrote, I love Portland, but I don't love people who steal recipes and cooking methods without compensating for them. And when the social justice warriors physically descended on the food cart, well, the inevitable happened. Cook's Burritos was forced to shut down, something the Portland Mercury called a victory. Really? A victory? A victory for whom? A victory over what? So moving forward, is this the new normal in the kitchen? That we only get to stick to the food stuff of our own heritage? That's really bad news for me. My background is Scottish, and that means haggis and tripe. Gag me with a bagpipe already. On the flip side, I love dishes such as General Tao chicken and spicy eggplant, but would a trip to the Mandarin now be considered cultural appropriation too? Me so hungry. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Like what you just saw? Then click subscribe below and never miss another Rebel video.